Alright, here we go, getting started. I do not happen to know what consoles the two players are playing on. I'd be happy to say so if someone in the chat happens to know what consoles the players are on today. I am actually really excited for this match. These two players are fighting for their tournament lives right now. They both already have a loss in the group stage, so whoever loses this match is out. Whoever wins still needs to win, or I believe Elminster, if he wins, is in. Rigby would need to win a second match in his group against Alex. But I actually have confidence that Rigby could beat Alex if they were to face each other in the final match in this group. So this may be an elimination match into the playoffs. We're looking first to see if they get Elminster with the Lakitu skip. Rigby is going to have to talk to Lakitu. They were both playing it very safe leading up to jumping onto the ledge, but Rigby just off by a pixel or two. The bomb clip is the first sort of doorkeeper in this run. Elminster looks like he's going to get it just fine. Bomb clip is going to cause a lot of resets if you're RTAing. Rigby also does it perfectly. Elminster is still ahead by a few seconds because of the Lakitu skip, and his movement is also just a little bit cleaner through these first few stars. He took an interesting route to get to the slides. Rigby taking the little bit more direct route, but unfortunately getting the talking to the door. There's always a big deal made about your slide time, like whether you get the 12.7 or the 12.8 or whatever. But really, it doesn't make a big difference. It's just kind of all for the bragging rights. A 13.4 for Elminster. He is showing that he looks a little bit rusty here. Oh man, the hype, exactly the same slide time. It looks like they're going to be taking the same route through the first several stars. They've done one slide star first, and then they're going to finish Womps completely, getting all 7 stars. The second slide star will give them 10, so they'll have enough for the wing cap stage. I'm interested to see here how risky of strats they are willing to use on a lot of the stars in this stage, whether they go for the owl or not. What their 100 star routes or 100 coin routes are going to look like. Looks like they're both opting for sort of the mid-range, decently fast route here. Although Elminster is waiting for the ride. I don't watch... Oh my goodness, that's a big mistake. Elminster is going to have to somehow get back up there. I didn't really see what happened. It looks like he bonked on the edge of a platform. Rigby may be able to make up the time that he lost here. It looks like they're about even now, very close. About the same coin count. Yes, Rigby's PB is somewhere in the 102 range. They got that star at almost exactly the same time if you account for the difference in their streams, just off by like a second. This tournament's been going on for a while, but I will try to remember to say things for anyone who is watching this and is somewhat new to Mario 64. Rigby is going for Owlless, which is a precise trick in which you jump off of this cage in order to get the star without an owl. I can tell you from experience it takes a lot of practice to get consistent at it. He does get it the second time, which is about equivalent to what you would get if you just used the owl. Elminster is doing a setup that allows him to get this star that's inside this wall without using the cannon that you're supposed to use for this level. Elminster is... I'm not sure if there is a setup that allows you to get it without going in regular C cam. I don't normally get it myself while I'm in C down. I don't know if he's just forgetting that or if he has a setup that works like that. There we go. He's certainly having some trouble getting this star. It might be worth it more at this point just to get the star with the cannon. He knows that he has a better PB than his opponent, which means it may be worth it just to use safer strats. Rigby now also going for the star. And Rigby gets it perfectly the first try. Elminster does eventually get it. He does find himself a star behind at this point, though. So early on, this race is looking very interesting. Elminster is having some trouble, which is exactly what Rigby needs in order to pull this out. You can kind of tell by watching Elminster, like, his movement is very good, but just the rust, those angles sometimes, the heading off of that piranha plant there, you can tell that he's just a little bit rusty. They're getting the same star right now, but Rigby is a star ahead because I don't know. Oh, he's already collected the owl star, and Elminster has not. Rigby just has the single top of the fortress star. Looks like they will both be doing that star now. And I believe Elminster is going to be going for the owl. Elminster a little bit too far to the right on that platform as he was ascending. One thing that could be causing trouble for Elminster as well, I've had the same thing happen myself. If it's been a while since he's played the game, he could be having controller sensitivity issues. That will cause you to miss things like side flips. I saw he was having a little bit of trouble with side flips on that last star. So Rigby right around 8 minutes getting out of Womp's Fortress. Elminster will be around 8:40. Rigby with about the early 40-second lead. So one thing I was going to mention earlier, you'll see Rigby going down to continue don't save every time he completes a star. The reason for this is because it saves, I've been told, about 15-16 second or frames of lag reduction, because when it saves the game, there's a little bit of time that it takes in-game in order to save. Rigby missing the jump off of the switch there. If you jump off of the switch and get the star before hitting the ground, you will skip that text. It's not a big deal though, it's only 2 or 3 seconds. For anyone watching the really good players of this game, this is where they make up their time, is just these 2 or 3 seconds here or there. There's 70 stars you have to collect in this category. If you save 3 seconds on each star, that adds up to a total of 3.5 minutes. And that is a big difference in time. This is the first place that you might have trouble and lose a lot of time is in the Dark Worlds. Rigby with a death there, which makes him about back to even here. Rigby opting for the fast strategy. I wonder if he's going to be going for the fast cycle here. The fast cycle is kind of rough in terms of the amount of places that you can die. Looks like both of them will be going for the fast cycle. Elminster having some trouble though, so he's going to be about a cycle behind. And I think Rigby made enough mistakes he is going to be behind by 1 cycle as well. But that is completely fine. Wow, Rigby again with the tough luck there. That side flip can be difficult. Mario just does whatever he wants on that ledge. He's probably not happy with himself right now. Especially if he knew that he was actually ahead at that moment. I'm sure it would have made him all the more nervous, but he's probably just playing his own game right now, not really thinking about the results. It's all about just getting a PB and just hoping for the best. Let's see if he can get it this time. I'd like to see him slow down just a little bit, just to make sure. Just don't do anything rash. You can't get stuck on the same star for too long. Oh, this is dangerous. Yeah, Mario turns around in kind of a weird way in this game. If he's facing one direction, then he will... If you turn the other way, he'll often just do a wide turn, and that's what happened when he died the first time. Elminster's Bowser in the Dark World was just fine. He did make those few mistakes, but it's most important in this game, especially if you're not one of the super great players, to just be consistent. Consistency will get you a long way. Rigby does finish the Dark World now, so he will be moving on. He's now a star behind, but as you can see, it's very easy to get 1 or 2 stars ahead or behind very quickly. Many of the mistakes in this game are very costly, so you never know what's going to happen. For example, in this stage, I don't want to jinx the player, but there are mistakes that can be made in CCM. I know this trick's been giving Rigby a little bit of trouble, but he does get it just fine there, the sky jump. It's kind of counterintuitive the way the sky jump works. You have to hold your joystick to go down a little bit before you hold it to go up. Holding it down gives you that extra boost. I'm not really sure what... Oh, Elminster was going for the 100 coin star, forgot he hadn't done the slide yet. That will cost him a few seconds, those mental arrows. One thing a lot of people ask about, like for example, I have a friend who's just getting into the game and he says, what order, or does it matter what order you get the stars in the stages? Or is it more personal preference? And in a lot of stages it is personal preference, but as you can see there from Elminster, you really do want to get the 100 coin stars with the big penguin, who doesn't appear until you've gotten the first 2 stars. The reason is you want to get all those coins on the slide while you're racing the penguin. The penguin will say that you cheated if you go down the slide too early, like you do when you get the slide star the first time. So you really want to... the whole purpose of the 100 coin stars when you do them in the 70 routes is you want to do them together with things that you already have to do anyways. You don't get all of the 100 coin stars, of course, but you get the ones that are possible to do with other things at the same time, like the penguin race. The penguin race itself is actually quite a long star. You would never get it just by itself if you were just doing it by itself in a race, but together with the 100 coin star, the two together are a pretty good deal as a package. Alright, we need to hope Rigby gets all these coins to keep this race close. You want to get all these coins on the slides. Actually, where is the penguin racing him? I never saw the penguin. Maybe he gets this without the penguin. It looks like that is the case. Maybe he just does not like losing runs to the penguin. It's a consistency strategy. Like I said earlier, consistency strategies can be strong. He's going to get the 100 coin star with this red coin. And then collect the slide star. So it's possible that Rigby is going to be going for CCM. It looks like he just split it there, so he's going for CCM 17, and he'll need to pick up that extra star somewhere else in the run. I've never seen someone use this strategy before, but it does make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense when you're going for consistency and you're in a tournament setting like this, that you don't want to lose 2 minutes to failing the penguin race. So it looks now like they're roughly on the same stars, they're both in BBH, but Rigby will be a star behind, probably up until... it's likely he's going to be doing Tiny Huge Island Reds later in the run. There's a number of other stars that you could also choose as a fill-in star. They'll both be getting 2 stars in Big Boo's Hunt. Ooh, I'm not sure what you do in this situation. He missed the Boo the first time through. It's kind of tricky to get the Boo to do what you want to on top of that ledge. Basically, you're trying to slide down and hit him during your slides. But if the Boo is not in the proper position, then it's going to be difficult to slide into him. And it looks like Rigby now smartly just taking the Boo on this platform, and now he will go up to the star. This does put Rigby about another star behind. There's lots of things that can happen in the basement, especially it'll be interesting to see if Elminster is comfortable enough to try to go for pillarless. I'm not sure if this is a strategy that he typically does. He will be going to Shifting Sandland first. Pillarless is a strategy that you can do. It looks like he will not be going for it. It's a strategy that allows you to get into the pyramid very quickly by using some interesting physics on the bomb. But it's a very difficult strategy, it takes a lot of practice. And it also takes a lot of constant, basically muscle memory and work. And seeing as he has not done a lot of practice recently, I respect the decision to not go for pillarless. Yeah, to talk in the chat, it is interesting that Elminster is in the chat right now, talking in there. If I was doing a run, I would absolutely not want to be in the chat, distracting myself. We already saw he's been distracted a few times getting stars out of order. We'll see if it continues to have an effect. So Elminster now doing the alternative to pillarless. He is going to stand on top of these 4 platforms in the stage in order to open up the pyramids. Pillarless with the bomb allows you to clip inside the pyramids using kind of the same physics that bombs had in the bomb clip on the very first stage. But you also have to use a few additional tricks to lengthen the amount of time that the bomb stays in its larger stage. Alright, both players definitely experiencing lag on that Pyramid Star, so I believe they're both on N64. That's how you can usually tell what system they're on, is you can see those points where the game is laggy. If they were on Virtual Console, then it would not have lagged there. Elminster still on a pretty clean run other than the mistakes in Whomp's Fortress. He's recovered quite nicely from those. And Rigby really the biggest mistake so far in the Dark Worlds, but he's been playing just fine besides that. Both players on a pretty good pace, keeping their star count ahead of their time. 22 stars to 21 minutes. I think the star Rigby just did the top of the pyramid is one of my favorite stars. You just get going really fast. I like those stars where you're just kind of speeding. They'll both be getting 6 stars in Lethal Lava Land. It is everything except for the 100 coin star. In the 120 star route, you would get 100 coins with one of the stars inside the volcano. If you're very, very fast at it, then Lethal Lava Land 100s is not a bad choice for a substitute star. If, for example, you come out of CCM with 17 like Rigby did. You'd have to be very fast at the star, though. Again, you see here them doing the stars in the different order. Rigby seems that he just wants to get the ones inside the volcano out of the way right away. Sometimes this is kind of an RTA strategy thing, where if you are running the game a lot for personal bests, you are going to do the stars first that are the hardest, just to get them out of the way. So that if you need to reset in your run, you just know sooner. Rigby lining up this jump, it's very difficult to do that jump precisely and quickly. Elminster taking no chances inside the volcano. You can see Rigby tried to do the lava boost, boosting off of the lava to get up to this platform quickly, but Elminster running around the inside of the pyramid, or the volcano, it's again, a safety strategy. And I can respect that, especially seeing as Elminster is clearly in the chat and probably watching this run, so he knows exactly what his lead is, and he knows how safe he needs to be. He knows that he has a 4-star lead, a 3-star lead at this point. So he is now just playing very safely, and I can respect that. It's a good strategy to just keep your leads. If Rigby gets hot and gets a lot of stars very quickly, it could cost Elminster just losing those. It takes like 10 extra seconds, maybe 15, to go around the inside of the volcano. You do that too many times, it could allow Rigby to catch up. These bullies have kind of interesting physics if you just jump straight on top of them. Rigby just kicking them all in. Elminster is completely finished with Lava Land now, going inside Hazy Maze Cave. We are about to find out whether he does the Toxic Maze or not, and whether basically he intends to do 100 coins in TikTok Clock. Again, my thought is that he was probably going to go for the safer strategy and just get the Toxic Maze rather than do the Clock 100 coins later on. The Clock 100 coins is one of the most difficult stars to execute correctly. And there's many invisible walls that can kill you and waste an entire minute. Rigby going for the faster strategy for 100 coins that does not involve taking damage off the lava, just barely misses it. It's a very tight jump to roll out and get onto that platform. I believe Rigby has one more, or no, he got CCM17, so he is now done in Lava Land. They will both be in Hazy Maze Cave for a while now. Yes, Elminster now is going for the Toxic Maze. And he does get the clip inside and the wall jump, very nice. You can get that clip inside the wall that Elminster just did by holding a very long jump and being just to the right of sort of that seam between the wall and... I guess there's kind of two walls there. So if you hold just to the right of that, and you have enough speed, you'll make it through. It saves about 5 to 6 seconds, rather than going down the elevator. It looks like Elminster is going to be... Okay. He is clipping the other way, or no, he's just going to ride the elevator now. Again, a safe selection. Elminster, I believe, one more star in Hazy Maze Cave. I don't think he's done the boulders yet. Yeah, I believe he's not done the boulders yet. They've both had a few good stages in a row here, not making too many mistakes. Rigby is going to take no chances with jumping through the seam like Elminster did. If you miss the seam, then you'll end up either bonking or just falling down to the area below, and it'll cost you a lot of time. Elminster moving on to the next stage. He's had quite a number of good stages in a row at this point. This is a pretty good time to be going into this area. I'd say at this point Elminster is on pace for about around like a mid 55 is probably what he's on pace for, maybe like a low 56. So this is not good news for Rigby. He needs Elminster to make a few more mistakes here in order to keep this race tight. Rigby is a little bit behind his personal best run, but that is mostly due to just being just the Dark World troubles that he had. I think other than that, he's been playing pretty well and up to his personal best pace. There's a lot of interesting strategies you'll see players use, especially on N64, in order to get these stars in dire docks for lag reduction purposes. I love how Elminster is still in the chat. He is just arguing with people in there. Okay, it looks like maybe Elminster is... I felt like someone in the chat said that he's maybe on emulator, because he is not experiencing lag getting to this substar. I'm not an expert in sort of lag reduction and the different console versions myself. I play on N64. Now doing the Manta Star. Wow, being very aggressive with those Manta Rings. It's very easy to get trolled by them because the hitboxes are very interesting, to say the least. It can look like you're going right through the ring, but the hitbox does not move in kind of the same fashion that the ring does. I'm surprised, since he's been so careful, that he was very aggressive on those rings. He's definitely not going to be getting a fast cycle here, but you have to be very consistent, and I wouldn't have expected him to get the fast cycle, seeing as he doesn't play as much as he once did. But the next faster cycle is going to be likely easy to get for him. This stage, especially the upper platform that he's about to reach, runs on a cycle that lasts about 15 seconds. So you see it reaching a cycle right now where it's going up. This is the normal cycle. He's going to have to hurry up in order to make this cycle. He may not even... Oh, it was very close. He did not make the normal cycle, so that's going to cost him even more time. This is a possible time save for Rigby if he's able to execute correctly. You can see the lag here on the ship as Rigby is getting to this star. This star alone is going to cost you about 2 or 3 seconds of lag if you are on N64 like Rigby is. Ooh, Elminster needs to be very careful here. Remember, the mechanics on Mario turning around are very strange in this game. You can easily fall off of that ledge. If you fall off the back of that ledge, then you're just about as good as dead. Rigby also not getting trolled by the Manta. I'm very happy to see that. It's just not a good time for anyone if you get trolled there. Elminster getting the throw there. This throw has the most at stake, the throw on this Bowser, because if you miss this Bowser throw, then he will go down into the lava and jump back up and tilt the stage again. It's a very costly mistake to miss that throw. Elminster will be going upstairs now. He is done downstairs. He's going to save warp out of here. Or not save warp, but exit stage. A lot of beginners do not even know that you can exit the stage. But if you listen to all the Toads, one of them tells you. Of course, no one ever talks to the Toads. But sometimes they actually say useful things. Rigby, very nicely going to be getting this cycle unless something terrible happens here. Very nice. So he saved about 15 seconds over Elminster right there. It is about to be a 1-star lead momentarily when Rigby gets this star. Elminster's 100 coins looking very clean in this stage. You get the 100 coins with the secrets. because the secrets force you to go all over the stage anyways. Here, I'm gonna refresh my stream, so hold on just a moment. Very clean start for Elminster. It's very easy to bonk in any of those sections and lose a bunch of time. If you're watching Elminster's run and you're curious, like, how does a good player save 5 or 6 minutes over what Elminster's doing? It looks like he's playing okay, but it's just, again, a lot of tiny optimizations. For example, you're watching Elminster, and on most of his dives, he has Mario kicks up a little bit of dust, and those dust frames make a big difference over the course of a long run. Rigby getting Bowser just fine. He'll be going upstairs. So, for example, right there you see Elminster diving, and I think he took 2 frames of dust. Every time that happens, you lose a really significant amount of time, like a quarter to half of a second. It doesn't sound like much, but with the number of times that you dive during the course of a single run, it's going to make a big difference. That's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes just on your diving. Rigby jumping across those platforms instead of doing the dive that Elminster did. A slightly safer strategy. It's very easy to fall down on those platforms up there. The camera angles can be very bad in this game sometimes, even for a good speedrunner. Elminster having a little bit of trouble getting up onto this platform. It's a pretty small window in order to get up there. It's both where you're starting your jump and the angle that you have. It's again something that you could expect someone who hasn't done a lot of practice to maybe struggle with. These jumps here are also very difficult. It also involves both the angle that you have and where you started your jump. One thing that I didn't know for quite a long time, like, I don't think anybody knew, but it was discovered as I was playing. When you're pushing those blocks for the secrets... Ooh, Elminster, I didn't see what happened there. What is he doing? I think he's maybe chatting something. This guy's crazy. He's chatting at the same time that he's playing. Yeah, I think he just went right off the edge over that pipe. To each his own, you know. If he enjoys himself more by being in the chat at the same time, then I'm not going to stop him. So I was saying about the secrets in Wet Dry Worlds, that the hitbox for actually getting the secret is circular, and it's centered on the center of where the block started. So if you push from the center of the block, you don't have to push as far as if you push from the edges. Rigby, just a few quick stars left in this stage. He's about 5, or we'll call it 4 stars behind, but the most difficult stars are still left to go from this point. Stars upstairs take an average of about 25 seconds. So at this point, It's 25 seconds plus about 14 seconds outside of the stage, about 40 seconds per star, which would put Rigby about 2.5 minutes behind at this point. It's going to be difficult to get a direct comparison because of Rigby's choice of stars. I don't know exactly. He still needs to fill in a star that he did not collect in Cool Mountain. And we're thinking it will probably be Tiny Huge Island Reds. Rigby now going to attempt to jump up the platforms. He had the wrong angle, so he's not going to be able to get inside there. Oh, he just barely does by holding. I thought that angle was not going to work. Elminster ahead now by 1 stage. Rigby now exiting. I'm interested to see what Elminster does in this stage. There's a variety of strategies you can use. Most of them involve clipping inside of this, inside of the mountain here. The way that the water works in this game is if you are below a section of water, it automatically warps you to the top. It never expects you to be below where the bottom of the water is. So it warps you up to the top. There's a lot of seams in this game where you can get inside the seam. There's also a seam in Tiny Huge Island that you can get inside on the way up to the top of the mountain. And it upwarps you in the water the same way that it does in Tall Mountain. But most people don't go for that strategy. Elminster using the log strats. I can respect that. The really good players are going to... Ooh, Elminster falls down. I never quite understood how the long jump works on that. It's very easy to not have the correct height when you're jumping up there. The really good players are going to long jump off of the log. But there's a lot of invisible walls in this stage, and they can really get you. Of course, they're invisible, so you can't see them, and you can't really avoid them unless you've played the game a lot and kind of know exactly where they are. The invisible walls in this game are kind of notorious, and they're caused by, basically, like most of them are caused by things that rotate or move. The hitboxes on them were not really programmed in a good way. Anything that rotates or moves gives you the possibility that there will be invisible walls. This is one of the trickiest stars in the game for new players. I remember dying on this so many times when I was a kid. Of course you are stupid and you leave those 4 coins until the very last. Elminster very nicely going up these platforms. These platforms are very difficult to do optimally. And here we see Rigby is going to be going for the THI Reds. This is your alternative if there's another star that you don't want to do. I've timed all of the stars myself. I have timings, and the THI Reds is like a second slower than the Toxic Maze, if the Toxic Maze is done correctly with the clip. But if you're more consistent with THI Reds, then it could be the better choice. And in fact, I do the THI Reds as well. I love that double long jump going into Snowman's Land. There's a lot of places in the game you can do that. Elminster now doing one of the most difficult stars in the game to execute. You can see even he's having trouble being a pretty solid runner. Very easy to lose a lot of time on that star. You can see that because of how quick the stars are upstairs, it really magnifies his leads. It's now 6 stars because the stars are so fast. Here you see another fast one. He misses that though. A good player is always going to have backups. That's why you do the igloo star typically first, is because, or not the igloo, the ice maze, whatever it's called, is because if you miss it, you have backups and you can go get a different star. There's a lot of such things in the route. Rigby misses the seam, trying to get into the mountain. Looks like he's going to try again. No, he's going to go for a backup now. The box jump or the red coins are both good backups if you miss getting inside the mountain. You don't want to back up and try it again because your angle is most likely going to be off. Rigby very nicely getting all of those red coins. Elminster again bonking off of the ice maze, but there's another backup star over here. It's not a big deal. It only costs him 1 or 2 seconds to miss that jump. Elminster still in the chat, still typing, of course. Wow, he bonks again. There's no longer any backups. Yeah, what he's missing here, yeah, you need to really quickly jump after you get up there, and you're gonna bonk if you're too close to the ice maze as you are approaching it. You need to jump from a little bit further away as he did there. Rigby showing the stretch to get up the mountain quickly, as Elminster was doing a little bit earlier. This star is a lot faster than when you do it as a kid, casually. Elminster showing off the bully push there. I don't know if it has a specific name. I remember back when I was playing 5 years ago, the Japanese had a name for it. They called it the Super Crusher. They would like say it really loud on their stream. I would not do it justice if I tried. So just imagine a Japanese person saying Super Crusher. That was kind of their thing. Elminster going upstairs where there is a lot of peril. He's on pace now for quite a good time. The upstairs, if done completely accurately, is going to take about 9 minutes from the end of Snowman's Land. So Elminster's still on track for about what I said earlier, like a mid 55 to low 56. This is going to hurt though. He falls down. He's not going for the Wackatoo strats. Again, he's going for safety here. He knows he's ahead 5 stars. He's ahead an entire stage. Getting the long jump correctly this time. He's going to be attempting here to long jump to the cruiser. He grabbed the edge there on purpose when he was going off of those blocks, because grabbing the edge sets you up with a perfect speed that you will long jump and not bonk off of the next block as you're jumping to the cruiser. I believe Rigby has closed the gap a little bit in the last few stars. Elminster has made a few mistakes. He had some trouble in Snowman's Land and some trouble on that star. Rigby is still playing pretty well here. Elminster's still having a little bit of trouble with these red coins. It's very easy if you're rusty in these upstairs stages to have some trouble. He does get the red coins eventually here. Not quite the intended route, but he does get them eventually. He only just needs to keep his lead at this point. He's now 4 stars ahead. Rigby has closed the gap a little bit. Someone needs to tell me in the chat where all these pairs are coming from. Like, why is Elminster the pair master? I do not know this. Oh, a very nice tricky triangles from Elminster. Those triangles are indeed tricky. It's very easy to lose tons of time. Elminster being very safe on this star, not taking any chances. There's 2 or 3 faster strategies he could have employed here, but this strategy is definitely the safest and we'll get him there. He has 1 more star left in Rainbow Rides, I believe. Or no, that's... yeah, he has the Toad star and the 6 in the clock. Anything can happen in the clock. In the last race that I did, my opponent lost 2 minutes in the clock. It's very easy. He was a skilled opponent with a PB of 55. But you just never know what can happen. There's invisible walls. Just like that. That's all it takes right there. And you just never know when those are going to happen. They just... if you haven't played a lot, they seem random. They seem entirely random when you're going to hit one of those. It's really jolting. It's like, it kind of scares you out of your boots. Because you never expect it. Elminster having a little bit of trouble, and then running off the edge. The same thing, actually, that Rigby did in the Dark Worlds. You see, Mario has some trouble turning around sometimes, unless he has a little bit of speed. Rigby is going for the fast strategies in Rainbow Rides with the triple jump wall kick. Elminster got it perfectly every time, but it is a difficult trick. Certainly not something you can take for granted. Ooh, Rigby going for the Lakitu jump. I'm very impressed. I gotta give him props for that. He gave it a try. I think he's a winner today, everyone. Going for the backup of tricky triangles instead. It's very easy to fall down on the red coin star in the clock, just as he did there. It's very easy to misjudge where exactly you're at, and those platforms have hitboxes that you don't quite expect. Another 10 to 15 seconds there for Elminster. Every time this happens, it gives Rigby a chance. Looks like he is struggling a little bit on the red coins, though. His movement pretty nice inside of there. I like that wall jump, or the kick off of that wall. It's very nice. It's clean looking. You can kind of tell how practiced and how sort of on top of their game someone is by how their clock looks. That's kind of the one stage where you can really tell Elminster's clock a little bit rusty. Rigby again going for the Lakitu jump. Wow, he gets it this time. Impressive. Really impressive. He's not out of the woods yet, though. There's a few more jumps he needs to make here. You can do a kick to get up on top of that instead of grabbing the edge. But going a little bit safer, he does still save time over going the normal way, going up the other, like inside the red coin maze. But quite impressed by what I've seen here by Rigby. He is still, by the way, on track, I believe, for a PB, depending on how he does in the clock. He only has 1 more star in Rainbow Rides. The clock, if done well, can take just 4 minutes. And Bowser takes only 2 minutes. So he could get as low as an hour and 30 seconds if he plays well from here, which would be a PB by 2 minutes. Elminster has made a few mistakes here on the clock. It's looking like he's going to get a low 57 at this rate. He has only a single star left, and it is one of the fast ones. Very clean movement on this star. Wow, runs into a weird invisible wall there. What in the world? I've never seen that before. Oh my god, that's crazy. I've never seen that. What was that? Like, I've never seen an invisible wall just, like, stop you like that. Like, literally, I've never seen that. Well, that's Elminster for you guys. Doing a public service for all of us. Showing us about the perils of invisible walls. So it's looking more like he's going to get like a mid 58 here, depending on how his Bowser throws look. 5-star leads. Rigby still has 5 left before he can go up, but the clock has many fast stars and he's already done the fastest one. Really, anything can happen. I mean, with what you just witnessed there with that invisible wall, what can't happen in this game? Lining up this jump to make sure that he gets it. He still knows he has a 5-star lead. We've seen him in the chat all race. He can do the safest strategies and just finish the run. Rigby having, again, a little bit of trouble with invisible walls there. I'm not sure that was an invisible wall. I think he just got stopped up there somehow. He lost his momentum. In the clock, you really just have to keep your momentum going. If you lose your momentum, then you're going to have a lot of trouble because it throws you completely off of your rhythm, and you can't really get back in it without just restarting the level. It's a momentum-based stage for sure. I'm not sure if he intended to go in with time moving there. The time, or the clock moving, depends on when you go into the stage. You want to go in on the 12 to have time not moving. Elminster not quite with enough speed there on Bowser. Ever the Entertainer, it looks like he's going to make this interesting, keep us sweating. I'd like to see him let Bowser breathe a little bit of fire here, just to make it a little more interesting. Just not quite enough there. He's a little too far away from the bomb. He would have needed to let go a little bit sooner to get a good bounce off of that platform that was falling. And there he has it. Rigby having a little bit of trouble with this triple jump. The key to this triple jump is if you hold too far ahead on your joystick, then you're going to hit the wall too soon and you won't have enough height. So there is Elminster's time. He has an official speedruns lifetime of 58:25 for this race. I'm sure he can't be happy with this run, especially with how his upstairs went there. But he took home the victory in this race, and he will... let me just make sure... yes, this is his last race for the group stage, so he will be moving on to the playoffs after this. Elminster a little bit salty about there being no prize for this. Apparently he just learned of this. The only prize for this whole tournament is a big bag of salt. So I think we're going to be getting him into the commentary in just a little bit, and we will be doing an interview with him if he does have time. Rigby's clock really has not been too bad, other than those deaths that really couldn't be his fault. You never know what's going to happen with those invisible walls. Not quite on track for a PB anymore. He still has 1 star left, and he could get like a mid 102. It would almost be a PB. I believe when this tournament started, his PB was like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. He has improved already 13 minutes just in the course of this tournament. He's definitely on the rise, and I don't think this is going to be the last that we see of him. I feel like he is going to be a great player going forward. Even if he does perfectly up in the Bowser stage, he's going to miss his PB by about 30 seconds. He could get very close though, and getting 30 seconds away from your PB in a race setting is not a small feat anyways, especially considering that death in the Dark Worlds. Consider that he got his PB likely while he was doing RTAs and resetting for the perfect run. Like, he would have reset there for sure in the Dark Worlds. And this is just a run for a tournament, no resets, and he's within 30 seconds. It's very commendable. Oh, he is going for the strats. This is a very difficult strat here. And he gets it perfectly, pulling out all the stops for us today. Of course, it's more difficult to get in on the right side, but the left side also saves quite a bit of time. It saves about 5 seconds. It looks like our stream has some kind of a malfunction. I'm not sure what the problem is there, or at least my stream has a malfunction. Let me try to reset. Yeah, it looks like his stream is frozen. Maybe it is... Yeah, maybe it is something wrong with his capture card. I know my capture card does this sometimes. I have to always keep an eye on my streaming software to make sure it's still going. He's probably not aware of it yet. He's probably just concentrating on trying to finish his run. But he should be finishing any moment now. I don't really want to distract him. He's only got a few seconds left. He's probably doing his Bowser throws right now. But he will be finishing within the next 20 seconds or so, unless he has some trouble with Bowser. And there it is. He has finished. Official time of 1:03:47, which doesn't seem right. That seems really weird. His timer showed a lot sooner than that. It looked like he was going to finish around like high 102. Rigby is done though. This match is completed. Elminster will be going on to the playoffs. Rigby, unfortunately, will not be making the playoffs. If you do want to see more of Rigby and see how he does and whether he can PB in the next race, I believe he has one more race in the group stage against, let me pull this up. He has one more race in the group stage against Alex, and I like his chances in that race. Alex has been getting times of 1:05, 1:06 so far. So looking really good for Rigby to finish off strong and at least take one win out of his group stage. You can follow both of these runners. Rigby has been doing a lot of 70 star, and I imagine he's going to continue on his track. He's trying to get a sub 1, so if you want to watch him, you can follow him at Rigby234. like is shown on the screen. Elminster has a Twitch, I believe, ElminsterRTA. Yeah, Elminster, you're gonna have to play more. You should have just lost, just thrown the race. Elminster's been involved a lot in Link to the Past Randomizer and Super Metroid, so if you like watching those as well, you can follow him there. I know that he's a great runner, and he puts a lot of effort into his runs. He's also a very old school runner. He's been around a long time, almost since the beginning of SRL. So he has had a lot of time to play the game. So I'm not sure if the runners want to come in and do an interview or not. We'll just give them a few more minutes. Yeah, if you want to tell everyone, Elminster, you can just come in and do, unless you don't have a mic or something, you can join me and I can interview and you can tell them about that.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah, I didn't really have any idea how long you have been around. Like, certainly longer than me. When did you start?
I've been around since 2009.
Wow.
But I didn't really get into running this game until 2013.
Okay. What got you started running this game?
I'd been let's see. I'd done a bunch of Zelda games before. And I'd been grinding A Link to the Past a lot, but I was getting tired of that. And SM64 was like a really popular speed game with a lot of races, and it was a game that I hadn't grown up with, so I wasn't really familiar with it. So I decided it'd be cool to try and see if I could get good at it, like starting from the ground up.
Yeah, that's interesting. Most people who've played the game, I think, started from at least having played the game as a kid and like knowing where all the stars are. Did you feel like you had a harder journey to get there because of that?
Kind of. Like, it was when I tried to finish the game the first few times, just trying to like get 120 stars and stuff, it was really difficult, and I didn't understand how you're supposed to find stuff on your own.
Did you do like a casual 120 first before you learned speedrunning strats, or did you watch streams and stuff first?
I did a casual 120, and I'd actually go into like the SM64 IRC channel, and I would, if I couldn't figure out how to get a star, I would ask.
Yeah, people are usually very helpful in SRL. They'll answer any kind of questions you have. Do you like remember some stars that you had a lot of trouble with that they helped you with?
I didn't understand how to get the secret bookcase star in BBH. That was one of them.
Okay, were there any stars in this run that you felt like you gained a lot from them?
Well, in a speedrun context, Cruiser is a star that I struggled with for a long time when I learned the game.
Yeah, you had a few struggles with it in this run, but those kinds of things can just happen.
Yeah, this run was like, I haven't played the game too much lately, and I was just trying to do, like, I guess what felt natural, because I tried to like force some of the harder stuff that I used to do, and it just wasn't working out. So, but I did die a few times. I did have some silly fails, but I tried to recover from them as best as I could, and it was like, the run was okay.
Yeah, I have actually just kind of come back to the game recently myself too. So I was in this tournament and felt kind of the same way. Just did whatever's natural and kind of go for consistency. I noticed a lot of things you were doing, like in the volcano when you were like going up the inside instead of doing the lava boost. Was that for consistency purposes, or were you, or was it for a different reason?
Yeah, that was for consistency. Lava Boost is something that I would die frequently on in PB attempts, like back when I seriously ran the game. And that was like, maybe like 1 in every 3 runs, I might die on it. But now coming back to the game, it's like I'm probably 90% likely to die on that if I go for it. So
Yeah, I
it's
guess
just not. It's like 8 seconds, and I'm not gonna fall. I'm not gonna want to fall way behind in a tournament match over 8 seconds. I'm sure like a lot of the people who play this game more regularly are quite comfortable with it, and it's worth it for them. But at least not until I practice a lot more. It's not really worth it for me right now.
Okay. Were you watching the stream and like had an idea of where your opponent was during the race? I was kind of wondering about that. You were in the chat.
No, I wasn't watching the stream, and I kind of usually am not in the chat either because I've been doing a lot of like randomizer tournaments and that's not allowed, and it's a bit distracting too. But I decided to for this race. I'm not sure why, and it provided some pretty good entertainment. So
for sure. Yeah, I wondered if you were watching and like tailoring your strats like that you knew how far you were ahead and being super safe for that reason.
I had no idea where I was, honestly. I was just like, oh hey, this one guy in chat is is saying some pretty silly stuff. I think I'm just gonna argue with him.
I think you're gonna have to tell me yourself, why are you the pair master or whatever it is?
Okay, so this happened a couple of years ago. A friend of mine who's also in the speedrunning community, who was in high school at the time, he had this English assignment that he'd been slacking on, and he was tweeting about it. And he's like, "I have this assignment due tomorrow. I have to make a flyer and a presentation on pairs. Everyone like in his class got a different food or something, but he had to do his presentation on pairs. And he said it's due tomorrow, and I have no motivation. So." Me being the annoying person that I am, I just started making fruit puns with him back and forth, and this went on for like hours. Like, that sounds very difficult. You must feel melancholy, etc. So then the next day, I think he got inspired by this because the next day he comes on Twitter and he posts the picture of his first slide of his presentation. And it has a picture of a pear on it, and it says, "Appearances are deceiving," with the pear underlined. So I started making pear puns on Twitter to the point of annoying every person on my timeline. And some people got so fed up with it that they muted the word pear on their Twitter. So I got around that by making pear puns out of pictures, like someone I knew graduated from high school, and I sent he was one of the people that got mad. He graduated from high school, and I sent him a picture of a clip art pear with a graduation cap, and I said, "Congratulations." And I think he blocked me after that or something.
But that's not a pear pun.
Well, I made another one that I called Paradigm Shift, and it was a clip art of a pear with a 10-cent price tag on it, and I put an arrow in a copy of it, like a translation diagram. So I did stuff like that too.
Well, I can see you have quite a follower base that is totally up with your pear jokes and pear puns.
Yeah, I don't know why they put up with me.
That must be why they're still around. So, anyways, this puts you on to the playoffs. Are you planning on doing any extra practice for the playoffs, or is this just kind of a for fun thing, just to see how far you go?
I might try taking it more seriously. I joined this tournament because I'd be like, okay, I've been joining a lot of tournaments, and if there's ever one for SM64 that's restreamed, it might be a good excuse to get back into it and maybe dust off my old PBs, because a couple of my PBs are really bad. Like my 5311 70 star on VC. Had a death in Dark World. It was actually in a reset run. So I was going for 51 before I quit the game, and I never got it. So it's like something I've been thinking one day I'll try and come back to it. So like now is a good time as any, and I don't know how I feel. Like the game, I don't know if it's as fun to me as it used to be, or as other games have been to me. So I'm not sure, but I'll try and take it seriously a little bit, I think, and see where that goes.
Okay, I'm kind of in the same spot, actually. I had not raced for like 6 months before this tournament started, and I've been trying to play a little bit more and maybe dust off my PBs as well.
Because I know you got really into Ocarina of Time Bingo for years, I think.
Yeah, it's still my main, is Ocarina of Time, but I've been playing more Mario 64 recently. I might try to get back and get my PB.
Oh, what's your PB right now?
My PB is 52-57.
Okay, on N64, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to at least beat me.
I mean, I wouldn't really beat you in skill because of VC, but I did actually want to beat Giano's 5230 and his 152 and 120 star. That was one of my goals when I picked up the game, and I never did it. So I still feel kind of bad about that. But
do you feel like you're going to try to learn any new strategies that have come out in the last few years, or are you going to stick with your old ones?
I don't know. Like there's a lot of new strategies. Like people have pushed down the times an insane amount, and I'm not sure if I could keep up. Like I watch other people that used to be like on my level or worse back in the day, and they've gotten so insanely good now, and it's like they spent all that time that I didn't play the game. They were playing the game the whole time, so it's I don't know if that gap can be bridged at all. It's kind of
a lot of the strategies would take extra practice and basically just staying in the game for a while. Like as you said, the lava boost, the Lakitu jump in Rainbow Rides.
Oh yeah, I could never get that one.
Like the moving time strats in TTC, where you do like the triple jump at the start.
Those were all things that were around like back.
They were, yeah, but I never bothered to learn them because I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to be playing this game.
Well, like back then, those strats were kind of more, I guess, reserved for the top tier runners only. And now I think with Game Shark codes and practice ROMs and stuff, the game has progressed to a point where people that are like, I guess, considered mid-tier runners are all those strats are all standard for them now. Like I see lots of people that like probably don't even like they don't have sub 150, 120 star, and they're going for Lakitu bounce, and that used to be like you'd only go for that if you had like 146 or something. A big one is the triple jump wall kick on the ramp in Wet Dry World. That used to be like Siglemic only, and now lots of people are doing it.
Oh, Siglemic. I remember those days when he was like in a league of his own. And now he has like the 20th best time in 120 star.
Yeah, that's crazy. It was crazy to me when somebody mentioned the other day that Siglemic is, like sub-Siglemic is now a common goal that people who pick up 120 star legitimately aspire to and is reasonable for them to get.
Yeah, he has like only a 143 or 142, doesn't he, in 120 star?
He has a high 143. But like so many people have that time now, it's crazy. I remember when 143 was like the impossible time to get. Like nobody could touch it, even Sig.
No, I remember when he got his 149, and like that was considered untouchable.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
I still have that thing bookmarked in my browser.
Yeah, I remember when the 70-star world record was like 53. I think that was on VC too, I'm not sure.
All right, it looks like Rigby joined us in the chat. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
So, how did your run go? How did you feel about it?
Okay. I'm really disappointed at Dark World though.
Yeah, that was definitely a bummer, dying twice in there.
That exact thing happened in my last tournament race. So like after I died once, I started getting this whole war flashback of like the last time I did a tournament race, where I died 3 times at Dark World at the end.
It looks like people are having trouble hearing you. Is there any way to crank your volume up?
I could talk louder. I'm kind of like feeling a little sick, so my voice is probably. I could try to talk louder. Or something.
Okay.
I think my yeah, I'm here. Hello. I think my mic or whatever's all to the max. Hi. On Discord, but I'm sick, so my voice is probably like lower than it should be.
Okay, I'll just talk a little bit softer, I guess, so people can adjust accordingly.
All right.
You still got a pretty nice time though. You were within striking distance of your PB for quite a while.
Like the last time I did a tournament race, where I died 3 times. It's a lot better at the end. What I was expecting. I actually PB'd last night, so before I got my 102, I was at 103.28. So this is actually really good. Talk louder. I'm kind of like feeling.
Yeah, you've been improving very fast. I've been kind of watching and looking at the races you've been doing, and your PB is like 5 minutes better than your races that you just even did a week or two ago.
Yeah, the last race I had versus Alex, I got a 112. So this is so much better.
Yeah, way better.
It's been, I think 2 or 3 weeks since that race. So yeah, that's actually quite a bit of improvement.
And I saw you joined SRL only on November 7th, somewhere around there. Were you racing before that, or was that kind of right when you started playing?
I started playing mid-July, like doing 16-star, mostly by myself, and I didn't start streaming until end of September. And I did not start 70 till about a month ago. It was right when the tournament, right at the deadlines of the sign-ups for the tournament is when I started. I signed up then, started learning 70. So it's basically a month of work so far.
It's pretty good for a month of work. And you're going for sub 1?
Yeah, sub 1 can definitely happen. I have about 1 minute and 9 seconds time save in Wet Dry World. So that alone will actually put me pretty close to it.
Yeah, certainly. If you just clean up some of those stages that you had trouble with here.
Yeah.
Do you typically, when you RTA, do you reset a lot, or do you do a lot of runs where you finish? You're just trying to go for the best time.
I kind of want to be on like a good beginning, because I guess if I'm like say 20 seconds ahead of the Womps, I guess it improves my mental state and allows me to like play better overall, and that's kind of what I go for, like a good start. But past CCM is usually finish a run past CCM, or at least get to Rainbow Ride before I fall or something.
Okay, so if you get past CCM, then you finish the run.
Yeah, basically, CCM's the first 3 splits are probably the hardest for me, or some of the hardest.
It certainly is difficult to get past those first few stages. Like Womps, there's a lot of small things that you can mess up, and at least a big time losses.
It's a very technical stage, so like one small mistake could cost like a bunch of seconds.
I certainly would recommend myself to anyone who's trying to get better at the game to do runs where you finish rather than stopping at the first place you make a mistake, because that really costs you upstairs if you're not practiced there.
I don't think my upstairs is too bad. Like Wet Dry World's been kind of a slump lately, but I think overall my upstairs was pretty good during the race.
Yeah, as I was watching it, it looked pretty solid. It certainly didn't look like you only make it up there on 10% of runs. It looked pretty practiced.
No, like past CCM, like I'm always upstairs, and it's actually worked really well. Even Wet Dry World's better than it usually is.
Okay, was there a part of the run that you felt like was your best, like that you felt really good about?
I really liked. I think my TTM was actually pretty good. I had a good TTM in Snowman's Land.
I did see you miss getting inside the mountain that one time, but the rest of it looked pretty solid.
Yeah. I still saved like 30 seconds, or maybe not 30 seconds, but like 5 seconds, I think, from TTM.
Do you have an overall goal past just subbing 1? Like, is there an ultimate goal that you want to reach eventually?
I actually just want to get as good of a time as I can. Like, I've been doing this for 6 months, and I'm not going to like stop at sub 1. I'm just going to see if I can get like a 50 or 49 eventually, no matter how long it'll take. So,
it's certainly a long road to get there, but it's
Yeah.
a lot of people have done it. It's certainly possible.
Yeah. Like it'll take a lot of like practice and work, but like I plan on putting the time in.
What got you into running Mario 64 in particular?
Well, I've been wanting to speedrun for like a while, but I just didn't know what game to do it in. And I think it was at SGDQ, I believe. I saw Cheese run this game, and I just loved the way like the movement looked, and I kind of want to be able to pull that off, or like give it a shot. And well, so far I really like it.
Okay, is there another game that you also thought about speedrunning?
Ocarina of Time, or any Zelda game really. Zelda's probably my favorite franchise, so I was probably thinking about it. But Ocarina of Time seems like a lot of like glitches to work through, and I don't know, it seems kind of annoying to learn or do well.
Yeah, it has been, the barrier to entry in Ocarina of Time certainly has gotten harder in recent years, but it's a lot of fun, and you can certainly do as much in the game as, like, you can go as far as you'd like.
If I'm like really good times in Mario 64, I might switch over to that and run that as well. But
at this point, though, like getting 50s and 49s, it might be just as difficult as being good in other games like Ocarina of Time, though.
It'll take a lot of work for sure.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the chat, or does the chat have any questions for our two runners? You said that were the marathons a big inspiration for you to get started?
Yeah, I've been watching the GDQ events for a few years now, and I never actually thought about speedrunning myself until this past summer. I'm playing on the Nintendo 64. My sister gave me one actually during the summer, so okay, well, I might as well learn it. It's like it's a sign or something.
Yeah, I guess so. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in the upcoming event that you're going to make sure to watch?
A Link to the Past randomizer for the next GDQ event. I'm really excited to see that one. I've been watching it like on my own, and it's really fun and cool.
It's kind of mind-boggling to me that they actually got that into the marathon.
Yeah, me too, actually, like a randomizer, but like, I'm actually really excited for it. Like I love watching the randomizer runs.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting category and kind of a new place that they can branch into for doing marathons in general.
It's not just like pulling off strats with randomizers. It's also like using your mind to find out like what's the best route, or like riding on the spot. So like,
yeah, I think it's certainly an underutilized and not really appreciated tool in these GDQs. Is they don't show a lot of runs where you have to think on the fly, and it's not just all muscle memory.
Randomizer runs are exactly that. So I'm actually really like excited about seeing it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to push for more random as well if I have any say in it.
It's insanely popular now. Like it's been on the rise for a while, and I think it was a pretty safe thing for them to put in there. I kind of wanted to see Super Metroid Rando as well, but
yeah, I really want Super Metroid to be in as well. It's one of my favorite runs to watch, like every event.
Oh yeah. It's been like kind of SM's been like we've made our rounds of the categories. There's not too much fresh stuff, but I just like I kind of hope it opens the door for other randos, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like this will be an important kind of foothold for the randos that this one got in. Okay, does either one of you have anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
I guess I'll say I like the I guess open entry tournaments that are put on here, because it gives people like an entry point to get into the game and like a reason to try when they might not have otherwise had one. So it's got some new people started for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like I haven't really done anything with the community since I started like 6 months ago, and I think this was the good way to like get myself known among the community. which is really cool.
Yeah, someone in the chat says that it helped them to decide they want to start speedrunning SM64 as well. I'm like, that's the whole reason why I joined in the first place. I want to try to push more of these things happening as well, and to get more people involved. I don't even care about trying to win the thing. I just want to grow the community.
Like my goal for this tournament was to like at least put on a decent race or like a decent run, and consider my PB a 103, I'll definitely take it.
Certainly.
This is like a fun thing to congregate the community. You know, every time a match is on. So
they also often after GDQs do those get yourself speedrunning events as well, where they take a few common games and they just get like enormous 100, 200 player races going. And that's a good place to get started as well.
yeah, those were fun. But when and like they started following up with like a big tournament following the big race. I played in that 70-star tournament from last year's GYS. But it wasn't like, that was also around the time that speed gaming restreamed tournaments were happening, and they were more formally organized, and they were restreamed too. So I feel like the GYS ones were not as, they were not as, I don't know how to put it. I guess they were kind of weren't as fun because of that, or they weren't really like super anchoring. Like there wasn't like a central place to go that everyone scheduled their matches in and something, and nobody really cared about the results of any individual match too much. So it was just kind of like I played until I was out, and then it was like whatever. So that's why I'm happy to see this, even if I don't really. This game makes me really salty, but like even so, it's nice to play in this kind of thing.
All right, I think I better let you guys go. So thanks for getting on and doing the interview to you both, and good luck in whatever you do in the future. Elminster in the playoffs, and Rigby still has one more match in
I think
the group stage.
I think.
Oh, are you? Oh, did you already have your match against Alex?
Yeah, that was the first match I was talking about where I got the 112.
Tabaskoth is dropping out, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sent a message this morning saying like couldn't do the races.
Oh, I see.
I'm out of the tournament now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be me and Alex advancing now.
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck achieving your goals. I'm sure if you play hard enough, you can make it to your 50. It just takes a lot of practice, but I'm sure you can do it if you put enough hours in. And thanks, Elminster, for getting in here. Yep. And you can follow both of these guys, as I said before, Elminster at ElminsterRTA and Rigby at Rigby234. Give him a follow, and you can follow up on Rigby and see whether he makes it to his goals. So see you guys later. Thanks for being in here.
No problem. See ya.
See ya. Peace.
So it looks like what we've got coming up next is on the speed gaming schedule. We've got a Super Mario Odyssey run going right now on Speed Gaming 2. We've got Link to the Past Randomizer going on Speed Gaming, and there is a marathon RTA in Japan going on all of this week. I don't know exactly what they're running right now. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but feel free to head on over there to Speed Gaming 3 and check out what's going on there. I think that'll be all for me today, so see you guys later. I don't know if I'll be commentating again, but I'll certainly be playing in the playoffs myself whenever that starts up. I made it through my group stage, so see you guys later whenever that may be.